In this video, I'm going to show you how to create crossword puzzle books just like this one that you can sell on Amazon KDP. Using booksgenie.ai, this takes just 1 minute to generate. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is create a book. So let's go ahead and click on create a new book. And for the title, I'm just going to use my first crossword puzzle book. The cover, I'm just going to use paperback and then click next. And for the interior, I'm going to use black ink and white paper because I'm not planning to have any colors inside my interiors. However, you can always be creative and add some elements to your book, and maybe you would like to have some colorful elements. And in that case, you would need to select either the standard color ink or the premium color ink because you would like to have color inside your interiors. In my case, I don't want to, so I'm going to basically choose black ink and white paper. Then I'm going to click on next. For the size, I would probably go with the 6 by 9 inches. This is pretty good size for this kind of books. So I'm going to click next, and I'm also going to enable the bleed. Then I'm clicking on next. Now, when it comes to the number of pages, I would like to create a puzzle book that contains 60 puzzles. And I would also like to include the solutions for these puzzles, and each solution would be in its own dedicated page. That means I would like to have 120 pages for all the puzzles. I would also like to have a title page, then a blank page, and also I will add 2 other pages where I will keep these 2 pages as empty to separate the puzzles, to separate the actual puzzles from the solutions. So I'm going to need 124 pages and click next. Once you click next, the book is created and it's open in the book editor here. So we have our cover here, and then we have the 124 pages that we created. Now, to create puzzle books is pretty easy using booksgenie.ai. All you have to do is go to this button here, click on it, and then you choose Crossword Puzzle. You are presented with this form here. So the first thing is the theme. You already know your niche and you would like to create crossword puzzles for this specific niche. In my case, or in this demo, I'm just going to, let's say, imagine I would like to create a crossword puzzle for medical students, right? And in this case, I will basically just do human anatomy. You can also broaden the scope of the theme. In my case, I will just add, let's say, medicine, right? Then you choose the number of words in each puzzle. In my case, I'm going to go with, let's say, 10 maybe. Let's say we'll go with 12. And then you can choose the language. So we have a couple of languages here, and I will stick to English for the sake of demo. Then you have the grid size. The grid size means how many columns and rows the grid will have. And that also represents the maximum length of the word inside the puzzle. And I think 15 is quite a good number, so we would leave it at that. Then we need to choose where we're going to put these puzzles. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. And since I would like to create 60 puzzles, I have to select 60 pages. I will leave the first page for the title, and this one will be blank. So my puzzles would start from page 3, and I will go all the way to 63. I can press the Shift key to select all of them. And now I actually selected 61. I would like to select only 60. Now I have 60 pages selected. I'm going to click on Done. And then we need to select where the solutions will go. As you can see, once you select the pages for the actual puzzle, you cannot select them again. And we need to scroll down. So I would like to leave this page where I can write solutions. And then this will be like a blank page. And then the solutions would start from page 65. And then I can go all the way to the last page here. And then I will click Done. Now that I completed this form, I can just press generate, and the AI will now go ahead and generate puzzles around our theme. So now we just have to wait for the puzzles to be generated and added to our book. And that's all you have to do to create crossword puzzle books with booksgenie.ai. Once the content is generated, we can actually go to our page and we can see that our puzzles have been generated automatically for us. That was pretty simple, right? And the layout is also pretty good. So we have the title of the puzzle here, just numbered. And then you have the downs and you have also the crosses here that are basically the hints for the user to figure out what word would go inside each of these cells. And as you can see, we have here like all of our pages generated. And if we go to the solutions, we also have the solutions now with the letter filled in for every puzzle. That's really how easy it is to create crossword puzzles using booksgenie.ai. And you can now be creative on how you would like to format these pages further, right? So when it comes to these crossword puzzles, you have also options to change the colors. As I said, if you would like to create a colorful book, you can basically change the color of the cells here. Maybe let's say we're gonna put them red. You can change the color here as well for the borders, right? You can also enable the background for the empty cells, right? And this will give you like a look, a classical look, the same way you see these crossword puzzles on newspaper, right? So you can go, for example, with a dark here, and then I'm going to change this one to be a little bit towards the white. And obviously I'm going to turn this back to white. And this is like a classical look for crossword puzzles that we have. You can also change the number of this. You can also change the font size of this specific numbers. So you can see I can increase it. Obviously we don't want to go all the way that way. So I'm just keep it to 10. And you can also change its color. And that's pretty much the customization that you can put in here. And if you would like to just turn off this background, you just basically do it like this, and it's back to how it was, and you can enable it. Now let's assume we would like to go with this specific look, right? You don't have to go to every page and repeat the process. You can actually customize one here and then right click, and you have this option here, apply to similar. What this will do is actually apply all the styles of this specific crossword puzzle to all of the other crossword puzzles in this specific book. So let's do that. I'm going to click apply here, and then you have to confirm that you would like to actually update all of the pages. And then once you confirm, it will automatically apply the styles to all of the other crossword puzzles. Great. Now, if you look at our book here, all the pages have the same style here, including our solution pages. All right, this is a solution, for example. And for solutions, you can also customize the letters here, right? You can change the font, you can change the font size as well, and you can change the color. You can also disable the margins here to see how the page looks like. It looked pretty cool to me, but you can also be creative and add elements to the page. Maybe add, since this is like an anatomy related book, we could add some like anatomy elements to it for every single crossword puzzle. All right, now that we have our crossword puzzles created and the pages are all good, let's go ahead and create the title page. So I'm gonna go and select page number 1. And then what I will do is just create text box here. And then I will use AI and I will ask it, for example, suggest a catchy title for a crossword puzzle book about anatomy medical students. Let's see what the AI will provide us. Crossword anatomy, the medical student's brain game, medical anatomy Crossword, the anatomy crossword companion for cracking anatomy, the med student crossword challenge. Yeah, let's use one of these for now. You can always generate different names. I think I'm just going to choose the first one. Maybe I will copy this one because I would like to have this as a separate text here. And then I'm also going to paste it here. Now I have my text, so I can now change actually the font. This one maybe, and then I'm just going to increase its size here. Command G or Control G to group these two elements, and then I'm just going to center it here. Yeah, looks good. And now we're gonna leave this one as blank, but you can also add like a copyright notice here if you would like. So we can actually do that here, or I will leave it blank and have the copyright notice in our cover. Let's go with that option. So now let's go to our cover and design cover quickly. I would like to add an image. For that, I just go to the images here. You can either search Pixabay for some sort of images that you can use. In my case, I actually went ahead and generated a few images using AI. So I think I'm just going to use this one here. Or this one. I think I'm going to go with this one here. And this is pretty much the prompt that I used to generate this image, if you are interested. Now that I have my image here, I don't want to have these text here, so I'm just going to get rid of that by cropping my image. And I will also get rid of the one that's here. And maybe just get rid of the other extra white space that I have here. Then double click to crop it. And now I have my cropped image. And I will pretty much just put it in the center, I would say. And then what I can do is go ahead to my title page, and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to add it to the cover here. I think this looks good so far. And then what we can do is probably add some elements to the page. So I'm going to go to this assets here and then choose shapes, and maybe we can actually add one of these. Maybe I will just add this one. Gonna make it like red. And what I can do now is actually either create 50 plus, right? Since we have 60, I'm just going to mention that we have more than 50 crossword puzzles. And what we can do is change the color to white and make this one a little bit bold, right? Now we can also increase this maybe. Command or Control G to group these two elements here, and we can just add it there. Yeah. Command Shift G to ungroup what we have here, and maybe I can try to increase the font size here for the title. Let's see how it looks like. And here we can do like 60 unique crossword puzzles. To challenge your anatomist self. So maybe we would like to have this book also used by not only just medical students, but anyone who like this subject. Okay, your anatomist self. Maybe I reduce the font a little bit. And I'm going to change this one to pop pink. Can then take it a little bit here. Maybe reduce this one. Maybe increase this a little bit. Okay, this looks good to me, like pretty simple. And then what we can do as well, we need to go to this side here and do some stuff. So the first thing I would like to do is maybe add a copyright notice here. So I'm just gonna create a text box here, go to the AI and ask it to write copyright notice for the crossword puzzle book published by your publishing name. Just do whatever you want here. Let's see what we get. Yeah, we have a pretty good result. So I'm just gonna use it. And then I would just resize this one here. Cool. And maybe here what we can do is probably just copy some of these puzzles here so that the users, so that customers will be able to see what's inside this book, right? Can resize this, change the font of the numbers to be smaller now, and maybe we can just do another one. Yeah, this one looks nice to be on the cover. Same thing, I'm just going to resize it to fit. Okay, maybe just make it like same size. Do it like this here. And similarly, I'm just going to change the font size to 5. Maybe just to align this one a little bit up here and this one here. All right, I think this cover looks good so far, but as I mentioned, you can be creative. You can actually design your fonts somewhere else and bring them to booksgenie.ai. But this is pretty good cover, so we can also just hide the margins to have a view how it looks like. I think it looks nice, and that's pretty much it. We have created a crossword puzzle book in just few minutes, right? And then once we are happy with the result, we can export it to Amazon KDP. You do that by clicking on the export for KDP button. When you click on it, you will get a notification that the process has been scheduled. And in this case, it started immediately. So now we just have to wait for it to be ready. Now that the process has finished, you can click on download. And then I'm going to save it as my first crossword puzzle. Hit save. Then I will just open it here. And this is the files that we need to upload to Amazon KDP. And this is our cover that we just created that Amazon KDP will accept. As you can see, it actually looks pretty nice. And this is our interior. And you can see that all of our puzzles are nicely formatted. And this is what we have to upload to Amazon KDP. That's it for this demo. I hope you find it useful. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.